Hi, friends. Greetings from my backyard here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's Memorial Day, 2025. I only share that because you might hear some cookout music from my neighbor behind me. It's really beautiful here. I wanted to share a vision with you. And this vision has underlied all of my work, all of my decisions since 2018. And I think I wanted to share it because depending on how we know each other, how we came into contact, chances are you know me as we connected in facilitation, or maybe you came to a storytelling workshop or breath work. So depending on like the community I move in, I'm like the breath work guy or the convening design guy or the facilitation guy, maybe even the financial management guy if we met through nonprofit finance fund. And that work can feel like profoundly divergent and scattered, but if we follow it all down, it all has the same root, and it all comes from the same seed, which is this vision from 2018. And this happened in the course of a healers intensive I did with an incredible teacher, elder, writer, activist named Dina Metzger. I'll put her information in the comments maybe, or you can just message me. I'll send you her info. Anyway, this vision came during the course of a drum journey. So as I talk about it, it's important to understand that there were no like psychedelics or substances involved in this vision. It's just, you know, Dina was drumming and some things were given. So I'm laying on the ground in this yurt. There's about 20 people all around me. And the question that we've been directed to hold while this drumming unfolds is simply, how am I to meet the times? How am I to meet the times? And in the course of this journey, I won't tell you the whole thing, just the parts that I think are relevant. That who knows? My guess would be that many of us are carrying some versions of this vision. But the core part of it was that I was taken into a treasure room. And it was impossibly vast, like a gigantic hoard of treasure, gold, diamonds. And as I watched, the guide who was showing me this took me closer, and I saw that this entire vast storehouse of treasure was built on a foundation of death, of skeletons, dead bodies, human dead bodies, animals of all sizes, from the sea, from the land, from the air. And that if this foundation were to give way, the entire mound of treasure would crumble. And at the moment that I understood this, the perspective shifted, and I found myself above the earth, above a vast forest. And I saw that that foundation began to tremble, and it wasn't just the treasures that began to fall, it was the forests and all life on the planet. And when I say I saw this, if you've ever experienced a powerful visualization, or maybe you've studied Jung's active imagination or even shamanic journey, and you know that when you see something like this, you also experience it somatically. You experience it in your nervous system, in your body. And so as I was seeing the visual of all of this crumbling, my body was also experiencing it. And so I felt in my body the dissolution of life that comes from the crumbling of the death-based foundations upon which so many of the treasures of our society have been built. And so just for a moment, to give you what this moment was, I'm having this very real experience in my cells, in my body, and I'm kind of like trembling on the floor of the yurt, sobbing as people around me are having their own experience. And soon, everything had crumbled into dust. And while it's happening, while everything is crumbling, I kept wanting to move forward. I kept wanting to intervene in some way. And my guide kept putting their hand on my shoulder and pulling me back, saying, no, this is not, that's not for you. You're here to witness. You're here to help steward and witness this transition. And so at the end of this process, there's nothing. My guide and I are in a vast desert wasteland. All life is gone. It's desolate. And my guide showed me how to listen in a certain way, such that the listening became an act of creation. So my guide showed me a certain way of paying attention to the world around us that created this generative energy. And soon dust is swirling and new trees are growing and new communities are building. And eventually it resolved itself into something beautiful and new that was growing out of a place of connection, belonging, centering, listening. And the image that kind of arose from this was of first a few and then lots and lots and lots, millions of small groups gathered in circles, simply listening to each other. And the groups had humans and animals and plants, so that we were all listening to each other in a new way. That was also, of course, a very old way. And so we're in that dissolution now, in all sorts of ways, politically, socially, economically, environmentally. I remember that vision, and it guides me to do things like focus on bringing people together to breathe in rhythm with the moon. And it guides me to go into corporate spaces and invite people to share stories with each other in circles, ostensibly for strategic communication, but really to remember how to listen, to remember how to be present with stories that are not our own, that may not feel relevant to us. It guides me to begin helping people connect with their own inherent ability to listen with their imaginal senses, with their cells, not just with their eyes, not just with what they can feel in the world around them. And so I'm sharing this maybe because maybe you've had a vision like this too. And maybe, like me, you struggle with how do we meet the times? And the answer to that, I think, is specific and unique to each one of us. And the more space we give ourselves to tune in, not just to the psychology of whatever we're experiencing, but at a deep level, right? Lower than the heart, even at a soul level. If we think about what each one of us is called here to do, and we trust that calling, we trust the visions that may come to us sporadically or less sporadically. We lean into them and trust them in the same way that we trust spreadsheets or whatever AI may be telling us at any given moment. Then there's a chance that this transition from the old world where we've been to what wants to emerge, that transition may be made with greater ease. All right. I think that's what wants to be shared. Thanks for watching. No call to action on this, just a sharing and deep prayer that maybe each of us finds our own version of that vision that guides me and has the courage and has the trust to follow it.